Hey racers, John Racer 3 here today, and welcome to the John Racer 3 2025 Festival of Speed. This is a video I make every summer around the same time as the Goodwood Festival of Speed, where I take a bunch of Hot Wheels cars from all across the world, all different decades and all different manufacturers, and race them on a distance track head to head to see which Hot Wheels casting is the fastest. Now this year is going to be a little bit special as well, because with this brand new track we've got some other layouts that these cars can race on, and there's actually going to be 3 different events in this series of races. So let's go ahead and talk about the cars and talk about the track before we get into the first event of the 2025 Festival of Speed. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the cars that are going to be competing in this battle. We've got a total of 50 cars from different sides of the world. I mean, we've got German cars, Italian cars, United States cars, Japanese cars, and everything in between, along with different manufacturers like Ferrari, Lamborghini, and we've got Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Mattel. I mean, you name it. We've got a lot of supercars in this battle, but we also have a lot of cars that don't really race on this channel, so they're going to be having a chance to see how far they can go on the distance track, which is actually a way different than my other distance tracks. So checking out what the track looks like, pretty standard stuff for the first sector of this track. Cars will be released and go down the steepest downhill into turn 1, the arc, a classic raised turn that the fastest cars make it around and even carry even more speed as they go down the hill and into the JLH Craft Speed Trap, where we'll be able to track the scale speed for all of the cars going on this race today. So we'll see which one is actually the fastest, and then the track takes a turn for a change that we've never even seen on this page before. The track goes up, and turn 2 is going to be a vertical spool heads 2-lane raised turn. So cars are going to be battling G's as they hug the inside of that turn, trying not to fly off the track and keep their car straight. And like I mentioned, there is a huge elevation gain for this turn, so there are some cars that just won't have the speed to get up that turn, but most cars will, and if they get up the turn, they will then go into the third straightaway, which is all John Racer 3 custom printed track. I printed the track, the connectors, and these risers for a very gradual downhill of stiff track, so cars should be able to carry even more speed and gain speed as they go down the track, which then merges back into a spool heads fat track turn. This will be turn 3, and turn 3 is also good because it is also a gradual downhill where cars can carry out their speed and hopefully be able to carry enough speed to get around the 4th turn, or I guess sort of bend, of this spool heads track. As you can see, we have a slight right hand turn here where cars are going to be able to keep themselves straight without drifting, keeping speed around this spool heads bend. This bend will allow the cars to hit perfect apexes, get super straight lines, and then from here on this straight, it is just how far this car can go. Going into turn 5, this is actually turn 2 of the fat track oval, which we will get to here in a sec, but it just allows for a lot more distance for these cars to go, so no matter how fast the car is, it will be able to hit a peak distance at the end of its run. Now, as you can see, this distance track then turns into the fat track oval that you guys are so used to on this channel, that also leads to a 2-lane drag. And like I said earlier, there will be more events than just the distance racing. There will actually be 2 car battles to determine the fastest car in the case. So here's how this is going to work. All 50 cars are going to go down the distance track to see which ones are the farthest. The top 8 farthest distance cars are going to be seeded for the oval, and they're going to be doing a qualifying run to set the grid for that tournament. And then after the grid is set, it will be a John Racer 3 Grand Prix elimination style tournament to see which car is the fastest on that fat track double-sided curve, and it's going to be an exciting one. All of these cars are super fast, looking to prove what they've got, and we've got some cars here looking to win a John Racer 3 YouTube tournament. So I hope that's enough context. Now, enough of the yapping. Let's get into the commentary and our first cars. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our first car on the track, the Ferrari SF90, a brand new Ferrari casting for 2025. It's going to be the first on the new track, and he's not quite going to get up turn 2. Like I mentioned, that's a pretty high elevation change for cars that aren't super fast, and a 198 scale miles per hour run is fast for the Ferrari. He almost made it around, but didn't end up making it all the way through. Let's see if our next car, the Bugatti Bolide, can. This insane track hypercar is fast on the track, but not fast enough to get up turn 2, which is unfortunate. I think a lot of cars are going to have trouble getting up turn 2, especially if their speed is not super fast. But as you can see, the Bolide running around the same speed as the Ferrari, but not able to get up the turn as far as he thought he was going to, which is unfortunate for Bugatti to kick off this Festival of Speed. But next up, we have the McLaren W1, which we know is super fast and is also a brand new hypercar for Hot Wheels this year. He gets up turn 2 just fine, first car to do so, and he's flying, keep the car really straight around turns 3 and the bend there, and then is going to extend his distance really far right before turn 5. That's really impressive stuff in the McLaren W1, but we knew this casting was fast coming into it, and I mean, look at that scale speed, 232 scale speed. That is just what you love to see out of these hypercars, and it's going to be the McLaren W1, first car completing the track, and he's got a pretty dominating distance to beat as well. Let's go ahead and continue on. We've got a bunch more hypercars left in this lineup. The hypercars are up first, and this car is the Koenigsegg Jesko in purple. The Koenigsegg Jesko does not have the speed to get up the hill, just like the Ferrari and the Bugatti before it, which is crazy because the Jesko is typically a pretty fast casting, but look at that, 198.1, the exact same speed the Ferrari ran and the Bugatti ran. I guess they just might be cursed with running the same speed and not having enough speed to get up that hill. But Koenigsegg has another car in the fight. We've got the Koenigsegg Gamera. Let's see what this Gamera can do around turn 2. Let's see if he has the speed to get up. He does. It looks like he's going to be carrying a decent amount of speed down the straightaway as well. It looks like he does he slams on the brakes there on that John Racer 3 straight, and as he slowly winds around the Spoolheads turn 3 and around that Spoolheads bend, he's going to finish up farther down the track than his other competitors, but not going to have the speed to contend with that McLaren W1. As you can see, 225 scale speed, so a really fast casting, but just couldn't carry the speed on that downhill on the JR3 printed Hot Wheels track, which is not what I was expecting. Up next on the track, we got another hypercar though. We got the Bugatti Veyron, one of the OG hypercars made by Hot Wheels, and the Veyron doesn't look like he has the speed to make it up turn 2 either, just like the other hypercars that weren't able to make it up. It has a scale speed of around 200 miles an hour, and that just doesn't seem to be fast enough for these cars to get up this turn 2. So definitely a barrier of entry there. Cars are going to have to bring all of their speed. But speaking of speed, we got the Lamborghini Aventador J moving parts model from Matchbox, and as you can see with the speed around the arc, this thing had no chance of making it up turn 2. It's very low to the ground, and with those moving parts, it definitely wasn't built for the track, but it was built to look good. A very nice looking Lamborghini, 157 scale speed, so he still gets to put a time through the speed trap, but still not the speed we're expecting from Matchbox Lamborghini models like that. But Lamborghini with a couple more dogs in the fight. Next up, we got the Lamborghini Sean. Yes, that is how you pronounce it. The Lamborghini Sean is a Hot Wheels hypercar, and the Lamborghini Sean looks like he doesn't even have as much speed as the other Hot Wheels hypercars. In fact, he's just a little bit faster than that Matchbox Lamborghini at 167 scale speed. Now that is disappointing. You would think that a Hot Wheels hypercar like this Lamborghini would be fast on the track, but unfortunately that is not the case. Next up, we got the McLaren Speedtail. This is a new color for the McLaren Speedtail that just came out very recently, and this Speedtail looks like it has a ton of speed. Look at that. Flying up turn 2, not wasting any time, really fast around that bend. He gets a little bit loose going around the Spoolheads bend, but look at that. He's going to take the distance record away from the McLaren W1 easy, and look at that scale speed. 235 is crazy for the McLaren Speedtail. He takes the lead and shows the other cars what they've got to prove and the speed they've got to have in order to make it down this new distance. Let's see what this Lamborghini Gallardo can do. This is the Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera, and it's different than the regular Gallardo with that wing in the back. back, which means it should be a little bit faster, but he has the speed to get up the hill of turn 2, slowly going to roll down that John Racer 3 sponsored backstretch and around the Spoolhead's bend. It looks like he's not quite going to make it around turn 4, the bend, and is going to finish just behind that yellow Koenigsegg Camaro, which honestly is pretty good comparatively to the other cars who haven't even made it up turn 2. 208 scale speed for the Lamborghini is going to put him on the board, but remember, only the top 8 cars on the board are going to be able to qualify for the racing event. Now, speaking of racing events and qualifying, we know this thing's fast. The Ferrari 458 Italia with the faster than ever wheels competed a long time in the most recent distance championship, and look at the speed it's just able to carry through the straights. He's going to keep rolling straight too and absolutely blow past the competition and take the lead. That just goes to show the top 10 competitors from the distance championship last year are not slow cars, not to be messed with. 232 scale speed for the Ferrari, and he's going to set the pace for the faster cars so far in this run, and he's going to take the lead away by a car length and a half from that McLaren speed. Up next, we've got the Lamborghini Centenario, or Centenario, however you want to pronounce it. This is another moving parts model from Matchbox, but this one has been racing in John Racer 3 videos for as long as it's been a car. Unfortunately, it does not have the speed. In fact, it crashes coming down from turn 2, so you can see those doors barely moving at the scene of the crash. Very unfortunate stuff for the Lamborghini. 167. He's going to fall to the back of the pack where the rest of the other failed cars are, but that is okay because Lamborghini still has some cars left to run in this battle. Next up, we got the Rimac Nevera. This is an all-electric hypercar in real life, but in Hot Wheels, does it have the speed to get up turn 2? It's going to be a close one. He does have the speed to get up turn 2 as he goes down that back straight on the John Racer 3 printed track, sweeps around the inside of turn 3, but then he's going to spin around and hit the wall, finishing off around the bend, the Spoolhead's bend, right behind that Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. 210 scale speed. Looks like that is just enough speed to get up turn 2, and he's able to hold his speed pretty well going around the turns. That's going to put him just a little behind that Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera. And remember, only the top 8 cars on the track will survive for the next round of racing. Now we've got another super fast car on the track. This is the Aston Martin 177, which has proved to have speed time and time again in these tournaments. He's going to drift to the outside, but hit the apex perfectly on that Spoolhead's bend. Look at that, lining him up in the center of the track for optimal friction. He's going to be zooming down that track, 225 scale speed, and he's going to have a really good distance. I would be surprised if the 177 gets eliminated with the rest of these cars that are still yet to run, because that was a really fast run for that car. Now we've got the Ferrari LaFerrari. This is another Ferrari hypercar to take on the Festival of Speed. I believe this car has been on almost every single Festival of Speed on this channel, but as you can see, it does not have the speed to get up turn 2, so it's going to be one of those cars that also has a slow speed on the speed trap, 182 scale speed, and that is not going to be enough to get up turn 2, unfortunately, for the Ferrari. Next up on the track, we got the Aston Martin Vulcan, a Hot Wheels hypercar that is really fast on the track, and Aston Martin has come to play with the Aston Martin 177, already putting down a really good time. And look at the speed from this Vulcan, also going to put down a really good time, but he gets loose around the bend. He's going to spin around, and that is definitely going to hinder his chances of reaching the front of the pack, but he is going to get in front of that Koenigsegg Camaro. 216 scale speed is going to be very much fast enough to get up turn 2, but I was expecting more from this Aston Martin Vulcan. He does spin out, and that is going to hinder his speed, but I hope it doesn't affect the distances of any of the other cars, and hopefully he makes it on to the next round, because now there are officially 8 cars on the board, all being led by the Ferrari 458. Then we got 2 McLarens there behind to round off the podium, and all of those hypercars that haven't been able to make it up turn 2 yet. But we still have a ton more cars to go, starting with this Pagani Utopia, to see if that top 8 will change, and I'm sure it will, because we still have a lot of cars to go. Here we go, the Pagani Utopia. Look at that, really slow, and is not even going to make it around the arc, which is unfortunate. This casting has always been slow, unfortunately, so nothing you can really do about that, but a Pagani unfortunately dropping the bag there. Next up, we got the Jaguar F-Type. We're going more into the supercar section of this Festival of Speed now that all of the hypercars have been trying to get a good lap time. Let's see if this F-Type's able to make it up turn 2. Look at that. He barely is. He's going to go down the end of turn 2, and it looks like he's going to keep his speed as long as he can down that John Racer 3 backstretch, but he's not going to make it all the way down the turn, unfortunately, as he finishes off right before turn 3, and that is where he's going to sit. Unfortunately, that is not enough distance to put him in the top 8 8, but 198 skill speed is also not going to be enough for him to race himself into the top 8, which is unfortunate for Jaguar. But now it's the Rimac who is on the cut line here, so any car that can go faster than a Rimac will qualify at the moment for the 8-car race. Now let's see if this Porsche is going to be able to qualify. This is a Speed Machines Porsche 911, so it's got a metal base and a metal body. Let's see if it's able to roll down far enough. It doesn't look like it. He's going to come to a standstill right after turn 2, so he's able to go up the altitude, but he's not able to carry speed on the downhill. 198 skill speed again, so the same as the Jaguar, but I think that weight disadvantage from the Porsche really slowed him down on that 3D printed track, which is unfortunate for the Porsche. But hey, there's going to be other Porsches to try and race the top 8, and it's not going to be the Speed Machines 911. But now we've got some American muscle to hit the track. We got the Dodge Viper. This is a brand new Viper for Hot Wheels in 2025, and it's got some pretty good speed in its wheels as well. Down the downhill, let's see if it has the speed to pass the Rimac. Looks like he's slowing down a little bit more through the corners, but look at that. He's going to have the speed to pass the Koenigsegg, not by much. He finishes on that Spoolheads Bend in front of the start-finish line, but that is going to be enough to eliminate the Rimac. 213 skill speed. Looks like around 210 skill speed is the speed you need to have a really good run down that backstretch and up turn 2. So that is what unfortunately is going to eliminate the Rimac, and all of those cars are now in jeopardy. It's going to be the Lamborghini in jeopardy of being eliminated, as we have a bunch of different cars about to hit the track. We've got some track cars, we got some German cars, we've got some imports, some more track cars, and then we've also got some fun drift cars, and then some miscellaneous cars, some everyday cars, some old cars. So let's go ahead and switch up the genre of cars and see who's fast next. And next is the Corvette C8R, one of the best GT3 cars on the grid. Hot Wheels makes a lot of GT3 cars, but the Corvette C8R is one of my favorites, and it is also a super fast model. Look at how straight it's able to keep it, and around that Spoolheads Bend, man, he just carries his speed all the way. He's going to go right behind that Aston Martin 177, which is surprising because the Corvette C8R has a really, really low splitter, which usually is not very fast around the corners, but 213 skill speed around the speed trap. He's just going to be able to keep it straight and keep it fast, which is what you need, and that is going to eliminate our 8th place car, which I believe is that Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggero, who gets kicked out of the top 8 and will not be racing for the win in the 1v1 battle, which is unfortunate for all my Lamborghini fans. Now up next on the track is an old Le Mans racer, the Jaguar XJ220. Fans of the Global Diecast Championship know that this thing's pretty quick, so let's see what it's able to do on the new distance track, going down the 3D printed straight, slowly keeping its speed around turn 4 and 5 around the bend, and is going to have a really good run. The Jaguar is just a nice long casting, and it's got some good weight to it, so we knew it was going to be fast. 208 scale speed is pretty good, and I think that might honestly be one of the lower speeds that we've seen from a car that has actually completed the John Racer 3 straight. And with that run, he is going to eliminate the yellow Koenigsegg Gamera, which is a really beautiful and fast car, but unfortunately will not have the speed to compete with that Jaguar. Now we've got some more cars that have been on the racetrack. Going up next, we got the Toyota JR3 Cup car. This is a livery from the Toni Breidinger collaboration. She's a professional stock car driver who has a livery in Hot Wheels form, as you can see with that Toyota JR3. Pretty fast, but not going to be going down the full straight 205 scale speed, just a couple miles an hour short of that Jaguar. And look at the distance between them. So unfortunate for Toni Breidinger, not able to get a really good distance out of the Cup car, but still a beautiful car nonetheless. But now, speaking of beautiful cars, we got the Ferrari F40, a brand new Ferrari for 2025. Now that Hot Wheels has the Ferrari license, it's not going to be making it up turn 2, unfortunately, but it is one of the best looking cars in this tournament because that retro supercar look is just so cool. 184 scale speed, so not going to be making it up turn 2, but definitely going to be winning a lot of competitions in the Up next is the Porsche 917 LH, another classic Le Mans racer. Let's see what this car is able to do on the Hot Wheels distance track. Goes up the hill and is going to come back down, not able to make it up turn 2. That casting has a really wide body that rubs up against the Hot Wheels track, so it's not the fastest on the downhill. 169 scale speed for the Porsche. He's not going to be competing for anything, but I'm sure we'll see this Porsche again in some Le Mans style tournaments coming to the channel soon. But speaking of old race cars. We got the Lotus Type 49 up next. This is a new for 2025 casting that just came out this year, and it's an open wheeled car, which is something Hot Wheels is starting to do a lot more of with their new F1 diecast. As we see the Lotus not making it up the hill, does not have the speed to get up there. 195 scale speed, so it's faster than the Porsche that went before it, but it's not going to have the speed to get to the John Racer 3 straight and try and race into the top 8. Unfortunate for the Lotus. But next up, we got the Corvette C6R. This thing is a beast. Finished really well in the Distance Championship recently, and look at the speed it carries down through turn 3, turn 4, the bend, and he's going to carry his speed so well on the Spoolheads track. Look at that. Racing all the way to turn 5, passing all of the competition. The Corvette C6R has not come to mess around. 228 scale speed on the JLH Craft Speed Trap is going to put him at the top of the roster, putting himself in front of the likes of the Ferrari 458 and the McLaren Speedtail, and unfortunately that will eliminate the Dodge Viper, the American muscle, in this tournament. He had the speed but does not have the speed to contend with the rest, so he's just going to be going with the other eliminated cars. But here's your top 8. We got the 3 podium cars as mentioned, with McLaren W1, Aston Martin 177, and that Corvette C8R also in the top 8. So 2 Corvette race cars up there in the top 8. That's very exciting. But now I think we're going to get to some more standard castings, like this Audi Quattro that is made for rally. It was a super treasure hunt back earlier this year in 2025, and it's going to prove it has the speed to contend with all of these other supercars and hypercars. 222 scale speed for the Audi. He's going to race all the way down the John Racer 3 straight through turns 3 and 4 and put himself really far on that Spoolheads track, eliminating the Jaguar XJ220, who just raced up to the top 8, which is really good for this Audi. But now we're going to start getting into some more classic cars and some more everyday cars now that the hypercars and GT cars are done with, like this new Mercedes that is up next. This Mercedes is super fast, also brand new for this year, trying to get a good run, and look at that, crashes into turn 3 and then finishes off on the Spoolheads bend for turn 4. The Mercedes had the speed but just couldn't keep it straight. A bad run for that Mercedes there. 222 scale speed. Unfortunate for the Mercedes, but that happens sometimes. A bad run can ruin it all for you. Next car up on the distance track is the Toyota Supra with green and gold wheels, a beautiful looking retro JDM casting. Let's see what this thing can do on the track. Up and around the arc, looks like he's going to be carrying a speed well around turn 2. Down the John Racer 3 straight through the Spoolheads turn. He's going to go to the outside so he can hit the apex of turn 4, the bend, and look at that, extend his distance super far on that Spoolheads track, finishing just behind that Corvette C8R. For that retro JDM car, not bad at all. 213 scale speed, not as fast as I was expecting through the speed trap, but it's going to be enough to eliminate the hypercar at the end of the row. The Aston Martin Vulcan will not be competing in the tournament at the end of these distance battles. Next up, we got an Audi RS5 Avant in gray. Let's see what this fast wagon can do as it goes through the arc, through the speed trap, and up turn 2. He's barely going to be able to hold his speed and go on the John Racer 3 straight. Not bad at all, but look at that, slow around turn 3. He's going to hug that inside hard, switch to the other side of the track, hit the apex for the 4th bend, and even though that was the perfect line for this Audi, he does not have the speed to beat the other Audi, the Audi Quattro in front of him there, currently sitting in 8th, 205 scale speed for the Audi RS6. Not bad for this wagon, and there's still an Audi in the top 8, so it's still looking good for that manufacturer. Now we've got a new car. We've got a custom Kia EV6, a brand new casting for Hot Wheels, and it's a cool casting to have Kia back in the Hot Wheels line. Unfortunately, this Kia is not going to be racing up turn 2, does not have the speed. It does have a pretty low splitter, but I love the design on the side. Designs like that you don't really see on Hot Wheels these days. 195 skill speed for the Kia, not a bad run at all. We're just here to see the really cool cars. Anyways, speaking of really cool cars, we got the Mazda RX-7 Drift up next. See what this drift car can do. It gets up turn 2 pretty well, carrying a lot of speed. Let's see what happens. Goes around turn 3, is gonna hug the inside, but then get a little bit loose coming out of turn 3 through the bend, and not gonna be able to race into the top 8. 219 scale speed is so fast, but I think he just ruined a lot of his speed on that turn 3 run, and unfortunately the drift car is not going to be drifting to the top 8. Next up, we got a BMW M3 in yellow. This BMW is super quick. We've seen it compete in tournaments before. As you can see, it gets up turn 2 without any issues. See what it does around turn 3. Oh, and he's gonna spin out right around the spool head's bend. The back end just comes out from underneath him. He was hugging turn 3 really well, but then loses his run there on the turn 4 bend. 216 scale speed. Again, just like the Mazda, a really fast casting. I thought he would have had it in the bag, but he loses the back end, and he's not going to be racing to the top 8. Unfortunate for the BMW. Maybe he'll retaliate. Next up, we got another American muscle car. We got a custom Ford Mustang GT. This Ford Mustang is special because it's got that front splitter that can be lifted for tracks like this. I'm sure it's helping him out. He hugs the inside of turn 3 after getting up turn 2, and then around the spool head's bend. He's going to cross that start-finish line for the distance track, but he's not going to have a distance good enough to compete against the top 8. 210 scale speed for this Ford Mustang. Really love the colors on this thing. The blue and white Ford colors look awesome. It's not going to be racing the top 8, but what can you do? Speaking of cool colors, we've got the pink Mini Cooper up next. This is a Matchbox casting, and he wants to try out the Festival of Speed. Goes up the arc, goes up turn 2, and he's not going to be making it up turn 2. Not a bad run for the Austin, or I guess the Mini. I always call it an Austin, even though it's really called a Mini. 165 scale speed. The Mini Cooper tries to get up the hill, but I don't think that pink car is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Now we've got some JDM cars hitting the track. We got a Nissan GTR R33. Let's see what this R33 can do for the JDM cars in this tournament. It's going to try and get up turn 2, and yeah, coming down from turn 2, he's just going to hit the table hard, wrecking, and he's not going to be competing for anything today. 165 scale speed is really slow for this R33. I was expecting more from this car, honestly, but I guess the Nissan just wasn't ready for the Festival of Speed run. Next up, we got a 96 Porsche Carrera in yellow. Now, a fun fact about this car for all of you guys watching this video, this car has been the face of so many viral videos on my pages. As you can see, not getting up turn 2. It is not the fastest car, but whenever this thing is running, people are watching. 188 scale speed for the Porsche Carrera in yellow. Beautiful looking car, a nice looking casting. Is not going to have the speed, but is also a legend on this channel. Glad to see him racing on this tournament. Next up, we got a Plymouth Superbird. This is a faster than ever Hot Wheels casting, but the Plymouth Superbird has never really been that fast because of how skinny it is on the track. It barely gets up turn 2. I stand corrected. Can it carry its speed down the John Racer 3 straight? It doesn't look like it, finishing right before turn 3. And the Plymouth Superbird, an old American muscle car, is going to be showing he actually has some decent speed. 200 scale speed for this faster than ever car, looking beautiful, and unfortunately it's not going to make it to turn 3. Next up, we got a Volvo Drift Wagon. This is a car that I'm really fascinated in from Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels has made now a couple of Drift Wagons, with this Volvo being one of the first, and look at the speed this thing has. It's really low to the ground, but it's also a pretty long casting. Look at that. Around turn 3 easy, and he's going to be having a really good distance run here, finishing off in front of the Aston Martin 177. I think that long body and that good weight really helped the Volvo with its speed. Look at that, 213 scale speed, not even close to the fastest cars we've seen so far today, but it's able to eke out so much distance with its casting. And look at that, knocking out the Audi Quattro from the top 8 is going to be the Volvo Drift Wagon, and he's going to be finishing up around the top dogs. As you can see, our top 3 have not changed. McLaren W1 in 4th, but the Volvo now sitting in 5th, Aston Martin 6th, Corvette 7th, and then that Toyota Supra is on the cut line, currently sitting in 8th, and we've only got a few more cars to go on this distance battle. Now we've got another Drift Wagon on the track. We got the Nissan Drift Wagon this time. It's like an Ultima Drift Wagon, I believe is the full name. And let's see if this thing has the speed to compete with the Volvo. Again, super long casting, hugs the inside of turn 3, drifts a little bit coming out of turn 3. That looked awesome. And look at that distance run, finishing just barely in front of the Volvo wagon. These drift wagons are unbelievably quick. I was not expecting that. And look at that, both of them racing up to the top 8 easily. 208 scale speed too, not a fast scale speed whatsoever, but the wagon was able to carry its speed so well, and that eliminates the Toyota Supra from the top 8 as well. But look at that, drift wagons going 2 for 2 on their runs, and that's a pretty far run as well. So I would not be surprised if they actually qualified into the top 8, but we still got a few more cars to go to determine that, and there could be some fast ones like this car up next. We've got the Renault Espace F1. I think that's how you pronounce that. It's a new casting for Hot Wheels in 2025. Through the John Racer 3 straight, hugs the inside of turn 3, hits the apex at turn 4, and is going to slowly roll down the spoolheads track. Does he have the speed to catch up to the Corvette in 8th? That doesn't look like it. It's going to be the Renault finishing just short, just shy of the Corvette in 216 skill speed, almost 10 miles an hour faster of the wagons that went before him, but he wasn't able to carry speed well enough on the straights on the spoolheads track, so he does not race into the top 8. Next up, we have another new Hot Wheels casting, the Volkswagen T3 Custom. This is basically like a Volkswagen van made for speed, and look at that, he's gonna flip over on the arc. You would think he would have enough downforce to keep him planted there, but I guess not. The arc claims a car, his first victim, but we're gonna give this Volkswagen another run anyways. Makes it through the arc okay this time, and up turn 2. This thing obviously has the speed, but doesn't have the speed to catch up to that Corvette in 8th. It looks like he's gonna fly through turn 3 and even hit the walls, and look at that, barely getting in front of the Corvette C8. That is some crazy close distances there, and that is for 8th place, 216 scale speed again, since the Renault and the Volkswagen, they're both with the same speed, and it's going to be the Volkswagen just barely eliminating the Corvette. Wow, by a hair. That is so close. All right, we're getting to the end of the line here with some more everyday cars. We got a Subaru WRX up next. This Hot Wheels casting actually came out a long time ago, but it is new to my collection. And take a look at the speed it has. Swings around the outside of turn 3, drifts around the bend, and he is going to absolutely dominate. He eliminates the Volkswagen that just got into the top 8, and he's gonna race up there. These final cars still have a ton of speed, and the the Subaru shows it. 222 scale speed through the JLH Craft Speed Trap is gonna finish just behind that McLaren W1 and just in front of the drift wagons. It is getting really close here at the end of the Spoolheads track, and unfortunately the Volkswagen, just barely getting in the top 8, is now getting eliminated, and that is how easily it could end. We still got a Corvette C6R in front, 458 second, Speedtail in 3rd, and McLaren in 4th. The top 4 have not changed in a while, but the bottom 4, it's all anyone's game here with all of those cars in the back. And we've got some really old cars up next, like this Alfa Romeo Giulia TI Super, a new casting for Hot Wheels this year, and this thing is also unbelievably quick, which is surprising because of how small the wheels are. Not the best turn 3 from this thing, but look at how it lined itself up on the middle of the track. A fantastic run, and look at that, just barely short of the Aston Martin 177. 222 scale speed for the Alfa Romeo is really fast. He should be up there with the top 8. Maybe if he had a better turn 3, he would be up there, but he comes up just shy of the top 8. Very unfortunate for that Alfa Romeo. Next up, we got a Matchbox Honda E, which is a fun casting. Might as well bring some E cars into this matchup, and yeah, he's not going to be making it up turn 2 for that Honda. Very unfortunate. 203 scale speed though for that Honda, and it's a Matchbox car too, so really cool looking car. Hope that we get more modern EV cars like this from Matchbox. Big fan of those, but he's not going to be racing for a win anytime soon. Next up, we got a Matchbox Ford Capri. We got a couple of Matchbox cars in a row now. See what this Ford Capri can do. This Ford Capri also went viral when I posted it as a short a while back. Let's see what it's able to do for the distance run. Really good around turns 3 and 4. He's going to race all the way up there, and he's going to pass the Aston Martin 177, kicking him out of the top 8. What a run. Really good run for this Ford Capri. It's really fast. 225 scale speed for this Ford is going to be enough to get him into the top 8. And look at how close this battle is. We got 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, and 4th all in one gaggle of cars. Around 2 car lengths between them now. And that is a really close battle between all these cars. But we've only got 3 cars left. Let's see if any of these cars can do it. Next up, we got the Prius Prime, the moving parts model from Matchbox. let's see what speed it's able to bring out. The last Matchbox car that went was really quick. Unfortunately, the Prius is not going to be following in the Ford Capri steps. He rolls down turn 2, not going to be making it up, but it is a pretty cool looking casting, and the door's open, so I guess that's some bonus points there. We've got 186 skill speed through the JL Craft speed trap, and unfortunately the Prius is not going to be shattering any records with that one, but he does look pretty cool, which is all you can really hope for here. Now we've got a Mercedes AMG G63 6x6 from Matchbox. This thing, surprised it even made it around the arc. 6 different wheels on this thing. It looks absolutely crazy going down the track. I wish it had more speed, but it just doesn't. 1,182 skill speed is beyond anything we've ever seen, but it is also not an accurate reading from the JLH Craft speed trap. So unfortunate for the 6x6, he's not going to be racing up there. And now we've got one car left. It is the Tesla Cyber Quad. Let's see what this Tesla can do for the last car on this distance battle. Can he race up to the top 8 to compete for a win? It doesn't look like it. He's going to be rolling back down turn 2, back across the speed trap, and the Tesla Cyber Quad is not going to be winning anything today. Again, another inaccurate speed for the JLH Craft speed trap, but that is going to do it for all 50 cars in this distance battle, and it's going to be the Corvette C6R currently in first, Ferrari 458 in second, McLaren Speedtail in third, McLaren W1 in fourth, then we go Subaru, Ford Capri, Nissan, and Volvo bringing out the top 8. Now all 8 of these cars are going to be racing head to head in a tournament to see which one is the fastest when they battle each other on the track. But first, we've got to find ourselves the grid with some qualifying. So we're going to set up the timed loop for the fat track, time all of these cars, see if it changes up the order, and then with those times, get ourselves the grid set for this tournament to round off our 2025 Festival of Speed. So I hope you guys enjoyed the distance racing, but now we're going to go back to the live commentary booth for the rest of this and get going.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that booth commentary for the distance racing, but now we've got an actual tournament on our hands with the top 8 fastest cars, and I figured some live commentary will be the best way to cover this, because these cars are going to be really fast, and I need to just commentate how fast these cars really are. So, as you can see, we've got the timed Play Robotics start gate set up, where all of the cars are going to be racing down into the fat track turn, through the distance track, around on the fat track straight, which eventually turns into Spoolhead's track, where cars are going to be putting down qualifying time. So all these top 8 cars are going to have one qualifying attempt. I'm going to make sure it's a really good qualifying attempt for the car, and that time will seed them for this tournament where they're going to go head to head on this same track. So we've got our top seeds. You guys already know what it is, but we're going to start from the slowest seeds down, figure out their qualifying times, and then get this tournament seeded. Let's see what kind of qualifying run our 8th fastest car on the distance track, the Volvo Drift Wagon, can do. Oh, look at that, a really good run out of turn 1 through turn 2. It is going to be a 4.597 to kick us off for the first time. These drift wagons were fast, and now we've got the Nissan Altima Drift Wagon, who seated 7th on the distance track. Let's see what time it's able to bring out on the oval. Another smooth run, maybe not as fast as the Volvo, a 4.927. Another good time for the wagons. Let's see what this Ford Capri from Matchbox can do. Had a really good distance run on the Spoolhead sector of the track. Let's see what it's able to do. Fast around turn 1, not that fast around turn 2. He's actually going to slow down a bit, and it's going to be a 6.08 second time, putting him at the back of the grid so far. All right, let's see what this Subaru WRX can do. I know this thing is fast. It's been a fast casting for forever, and look at that qualifying run. Really good speed from the Subaru. 4.392, I think, is enough for pole. Yep, 4.392 is the time to beat from the Subaru, but our top 4 cars are all supercars / hypercars. First up's McLaren W1, who is 4th farthest on the distance. Let's see what it's able to do. For a good oval time, he's going to go a little bit around the track, a little bit squirrely there, and it's going to be a 4.979. Definitely going to put him around that Nissan Drift Wagon here for the tournament. This McLaren Speedtail is bringing the speed. McLaren fielding 2 of these top 8 cars so far. And take a look at that run from the Speedtail. Gets a little bit loose going into turn 2, but it's not going to matter. A 4.634 is still a really good time for the McLaren. That run is going to put the Speedtail 3rd currently behind the Volvo wagon, and the McLaren W1 currently sits 5th with 2 more cars to go. This 458 is iconic, did really well in the last distance championship to go along with its really good distance run here. Let's see what it's able to bring out on the oval though. Looks like it's not going to be as fast as its competition. A 5.050 is, or sorry, a 5.050 from the 458 is going to put him pretty far back in the field, but I bet he can race his way up to the win. Finally, we have a winner of the distance battle, the Corvette C6R, another car that finished in the top 10 of the most recent distance championship. He's here to try and take home another trophy. Let's see what his qualifying run's able to do. Gets a little bit loose. And finally, our fastest car on the distance track, winning the distance battle in today's Festival of Speed, is the Corvette C6R. This car did really good in the most recent distance championship. And look at that run. Holy cow, almost sub 4 seconds. The Corvette flies to pole. And with those times, here is the current seeding. Our pole sitter is going up against the Ford Capri, who is seeded 8th. And then we've got some other seeds. We got the Subaru going up against the Ferrari 458, the Volvo wagon going up against the McLaren W1, and the Speedtail going up against the Nissan Drift wagon. So the winners of each of these matchups will move on to the next round, and then the next round until we ultimately crown a champion. And I think we'll also do a 3rd place matchup here. So it is going to be the first car to win consecutively, both lanes in a row on the fat track. You guys know the drill, so let's go ahead and start with our bottom seeds. We got the 2nd seed Subaru going up against the 7th seed, the Ferrari 458. It's Subaru starting on the inside with a really good lap going up against the Ferrari 458. It's the farthest car down the track to take the win. It's a really close battle between both these cars. The Ferrari is not giving up though, but the Subaru is going to race all the way down to the straightaway, and the Ferrari, though has a really good run to catch Subaru, is not fast enough. Subaru on the outside now. Can he make it work around the Ferrari? Only one way to find out. Ferrari wins into turn 1 and is going to absolutely run away from the Subaru with a 5.0 second lap time. The Subaru now on the back foot. Can that Ferrari 458 swoop around the outside to destroy the Subaru? Oh, and it looks like there's a horrible wreck. The Subaru's going to flip going into turn 1, and the Ferrari's going to prevail. What an upset. The 458 beats the Subaru from the 2nd seed. Our next matchup is a fast one. We got the Volvo wagon on the inside and the McLaren W1 on the outside. Drift wagon versus hypercar. The hypercar prevails on the outside lane with what looks like a really good qualifying lap. 4.2 seconds from the McLaren is here to prove he's got the dominance to beat the Volvo. That was from the outside too. One more win for the McLaren on the inside, and he moves on to race the Ferrari in the next round. It looks like he's going to get it. This time the Volvo wagon a little bit closer to him through turn 1, but he's not going to catch up. The McLaren sweeps the first 2 races to move on to the next round. This matchup should be good. Both of these cars are super long. Speedtail on the inside, Nissan wagon on the outside. Race 1 into turn 1. It's really close. Speedtail gets a little bit loose. Can the wagon get by? No! The McLaren's going to utilize the skinny part coming out of turn 2 to block the Nissan, and he's going to take the first race with a pretty decent lap time as well. All right, the Speedtail got the first race, but we know that Nissan's not going down without a fight. Can the Speedtail sweep around the outside? Oh, it looks like it. What a move by the Speedtail. He's going to get the win, beating out the Nissan, who gets doored by the Speedtail and is going to lose in 2 races just like the other wagon did. The McLaren Speedtail moves on to the next round. All right, our last matchup before the semifinals, we got the Corvette versus the Ford Capri. Number 1 seed versus number 8 seed, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be another blowout. It looks like the Ford just couldn't stay on all 4 wheels, racing wheel to wheel with the Corvette around turn 1, and it's going to be the Corvette taking the first race with a 4.984 lap time. All right, the Ford Capri is going to get one more shot to try and upset the Corvette, but the Corvette's on the outside. He might absolutely dominate. Comes out of turn 1 on top, and that's also a really good lap for the Corvette, a 4.6 to take home the win, and he's going to beat the Ford Capri. Take a look at that. After the first round of the tournament, it's going to be the bottom 4 distance finishers getting eliminated, and they're going to finish this way just based on their qualifying times, and the 4 fastest supercars on the distance track are the only ones that are still alive. But now we go into the next round where all of these cars are going to have to be facing off each other if they want to make it to the finals. So it gets real intense starting now. All right, we're starting with our first seed this time the Corvette's going up against the Speedtail. Both of these cars unbelievably quick, but it looks like the Corvette's gonna get his car in front of the Speedtail, and the Speedtail just can't do anything about that. The Corvette takes the first race. Maybe some dirty moves out of that Corvette, but we've seen dirty moves out of the Speedtail too. Now the Speedtail's on the inside. Can he flip the advantage back? The Corvette spins around, and it's gonna be the Speedtail getting his advantage back, and now he has the opportunity to move on to the finals over the number 1 seed Corvette. Corvette now on the inside, Speedtail on the outside. Who's gonna make a mistake? They're really fast coming out of turn 1, but this time the Corvette's gonna block the Speedtail and take his advantage back. Man, these are some dirty moves from these cars. Can the Corvette seal the deal from the outside to take the trophy from the Speedtail? It looks like he can this time. Speedtail, they both get backwards. Speedtail does not have the speed, unfortunately, and it's gonna be the Corvette moving on to the final round, beating out the Speedtail. Time to see who's going up against the Corvette in the finals. We got the Ferrari on the outside and the McLaren on the inside. The McLaren shoves the Ferrari into the wall and is easily gonna beat him in the first lap. That Ferrari, unfortunately, has not had the best luck in turn 1. McLaren now on the outside. Can he go to the finals, beating out the Ferrari 458? Ferrari on the inside gets the advantage this time, and he says, I will not be denied. McLaren's got to chase him down 2 more times. Unless the Ferrari wins from the outside lane here, which is possible, can the Ferrari move on to the finals? McLaren this time with the inside advantage. He's going to get across the line first and flip the advantage. McLaren now on the outside. What can he do? Can he go to the finals? The Ferrari gets loose. This is the McLaren's chance. McLaren goes to the outside, but the Ferrari blocks him. Now it's in the Ferrari's hands. Can the Ferrari go to the finals? What a close battle between these two cars. Look at that. The Ferrari, oh, a horrible wreck. Absolutely brutal wreck. Makes the move and then crashes on the Spoolheads track where the fat track enters the Spoolheads track. That is racing, and that is really unfortunate. Did the McLaren touch the rear of the Ferrari to wreck him, or was it just a racing incident? Well, it doesn't matter. The McLaren's got the advantage now, and it's unfortunate for the Ferrari that he loses out to the McLaren after that horrible last lap wreck. That sucks. It's going to be the Corvette versus the McLaren in the finals, but first we'll find the bottom of our podium and race the Ferrari up against the Speedtail to see who finishes third. The Speedtail is going to start this with the advantage on the inside. Let's see if he can beat the Ferrari 2 times in a row. From the inside, Speedtail easily takes race 1. Now the Speedtail's on the outside. Can he make quick work of this Italian supercar? The 458 beats the Speedtail into the corner, and he's going to deny him that victory. The 458 with a fantastic run, 4.2 seconds. Wow, this thing proves he has the speed to compete. All right, now let's see what the Ferrari can do with the advantage on the outside. This is for third place, remember, and the Ferrari's going to spin out trying to make a switchback move on the Speedtail. Speedtail now with the advantage on the outside. Can he beat the Ferrari to turn 1? Ferrari with a really good run. He blocks the inside. The Speedtail's still hanging on to him, but the Ferrari gets to the line first. One of these cars has got to win on the outside in order to take that third place podium finish. See what the Ferrari can do on the outside. He's not going to get there. Now it's up to the Speedtail on the outside. Can he get there? Oh, it's going to be close, but not really. The Ferrari takes it again. These cars are battling hard, and this is not even for the win of the tournament. Both of these cars being super fast. The Ferrari, though, had the advantage on the outside, stuck with the McLaren, but still the McLaren shuts him out. All right, McLaren from the outside, I'm looking at you. Can you make the move around the Ferrari to take third place in the tournament? Oh, the Ferrari gets a little bit loose that time, but no. All right, this is race 9. Both of these cars are currently tied and can't seem to win consecutively. The Ferrari, though, with the move around the spinning Speedtail, is going to change that story. It's the 458 finally taking the win, beating out the McLaren. What a battle. Ferrari fought hard for this position, and he's going to finish third in the entire tournament. But now we've got our finale matchup, the moment you've all been waiting for. The McLaren W1, the new rookie, versus the veteran, the Corvette C6R. The Corvette's going to start with his inside lane advantage, qualifying first, and that McLaren W1 on the outsides is just trying to make something happen. The McLaren's been in the finals before, but he wasn't able to capitalize. Will this be his tournament? Around the outside, the McLaren gets him. What a drag race, and that is a fantastic position for the McLaren to be in. Now he's going to be on the inside for race 2, which is where most of the wins come from, and the Corvette is on the back foot. The Corvette now on the outside still has a chance to beat the McLaren, but the McLaren with the advantage going into turn 1. There's neck and neck, and it's the Corvette fighting back from the outside. Man, that was a really even drag between both of these cars. This finale matchup is not over yet. Both of these cars just proved they can win it from the outside, but now the Corvette has the advantage starting on the inside. Can McLaren defend around the corner? He's going to. The Corvette gets loose, and it's the McLaren W1 switching the advantage back to him as we go into a race 4. You can just tell the McLaren W1 wants this victory over that C6 Corvette, which has just been so fast all day. Let's see what happens. McLaren with the advantage. Corvette around the outside. He can't make anything happen. Across the line, your Festival of Speed 2025 champion is the McLaren W1. Unbelievable stuff. It's going to be the Corvette losing it into turn 1, giving the McLaren W1 his first John Racer 3 YouTube victory of his career, which is very, very exciting stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a long one with a lot of racing involved, but it's the Festival of Speed, so why not celebrate speed with a bunch of different Hot Wheels cars on a brand new John Racer 3 track. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns, leave them in the comments below so that I can respond to all of you guys and make this racing as good as it possibly can. Tell me which car was your favorite out of all of these ones, and I'll make sure to respond to as many comments as I can. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching this tournament. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you want to see next on the John Racer 3 YouTube channel, because I have so many more track ideas that I'm going to be building very, very soon. So stay tuned, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.